You know that feeling, right? You're in class, you have this awesome idea, but you kind of hesitate to share it. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down that whole journey. We'll look at how to take that little spark of an idea, team up with a partner to make it stronger, and then turn it into a presentation that you can be truly proud of. So let's jump right in.
Okay, so picture this. Your teacher throws out a really big question, and boom, an idea just pops into your head. So what do? I mean, do you shoot your hand straight up? Or is there maybe a smarter way to build up your confidence and make that idea even better before you share it with everybody? Well, that smarter way usually starts right here, with something called the turn and talk. And look, this is way more than just a quick chat. Think of it like a safe zone. It's this low-pressure moment where you can actually test drive your idea. Say it out loud, and just build up that confidence. It's a real chance to team up and realize, hey, that little idea I had, it's actually pretty brilliant.
So, to make a turn and talk really work, there's a bit of a system to it. It all starts with the simple stuff, right? Actually turn and face your partner. And, super important, stay on topic. Then it's all about fairness. You take turns speaking and listening. And try to use full sentences, because it helps you really shape your thoughts. And listening, you gotta listen to understand, not just to wait for your turn. Oh, and wrapping up on time, that's a huge sign of respect for both your partner and for everyone else.
Okay, let's really zero in on listening for a second, because honestly, this is a total game changer. There's this huge difference between passive and active listening. Passive listening, that's when you're just kind of waiting for them to take a breath so you can jump in. But active listening, that's when you're actually trying to get what your partner is saying. When you listen to learn instead of just to reply, trust me, everyone's ideas end up way stronger.
So how do you make sure you're actually working together and not just talking at each other? Well, here's a simple but super powerful tool, sentence starters. Using phrases like building on what you said, or maybe that's interesting, it makes me think about. Suddenly, it's not two separate monologues anymore. It becomes a real conversation, a shared exploration. You're literally connecting your ideas, and that makes both of them so much better.
All right, so you've put your idea out there, you've worked on it with your partner, and it's feeling solid. Now what? Well, now it's time for the main event, sharing that idea with a bigger audience. This is where all that groundwork pays off. It's your time to shine.
Okay, when you get up in front of people, it is so easy to fall into the filler word trap. You know what I'm talking about? The ums, the uhs, the likes, the basicallys. We all do it. And they might not seem like a big deal, but they can really weaken what you're trying to say. They kind of send this little signal of uncertainty, and it can make you seem way less prepared than you actually are.
So how do we kick those filler words to the curb? I've got 3 really quick fixes for you. First, just slow down. Seriously, when you pace yourself, your brain has a chance to keep up with your mouth. Second, get comfortable with pauses. A little moment of silence isn't awkward. It's powerful. It gives your audience a second to think and gives you a second to gather your next thought. And third, rehearse your key points. I'm not saying memorize a script, but know your main ideas inside and out.
And when it comes to grading, what are teachers actually looking for in a great presentation? Well, it usually boils down to 3 big things. First, your delivery. Are you speaking with a clear, proud voice? Are you making eye contact? Second is your content. Is it organized? Does it clearly answer those key questions? The who, what, when, where, and why. And last but not least, enthusiasm. They want to see that you're genuinely into your topic. That energy is contagious. Okay, your idea is solid, your delivery is getting sharp. Now it's time for the final polish, your slides. Now listen, good slides don't just have everything you're saying written on them. That's not the point. Their job is to enhance your message, to make your points clearer and way more memorable for everyone listening.
If you only take away one single rule about designing slides, please let it be this one. Less is more. I'm serious. Your slides are supposed to support you, not compete with you. The spotlight should always be on you and the story that you're telling. So here's a really practical way to put that less is more idea into action. It's called the 6x6 rule. The goal is simple. No more than 6 bullet points on a slide and no more than about 6 words per bullet. Just look at the difference it makes. A cluttered slide with tons of text is just overwhelming, right? But a clean, simple slide, it's easy to read, it backs you up, and it keeps the audience focused on you. Want to take your slides to the next level? Here's a pro tip. Try swapping out some of those bullet points for icons. It works because our brains process images way faster than words, so using a simple icon can help your audience get the main idea in a split second. It makes your whole presentation more powerful and, honestly, a lot easier to remember later on.
So, for example, instead of a boring list of words, you could use a little camera icon for your images, maybe a checklist for your topic outline, a speech bubble for key reactions, and a question mark for your quiz. See? Each icon just clicks. It tells the story instantly, making your slide look great and work super efficiently.
Okay, so we followed this whole journey, right? From a simple chat with a partner all the way to a polished presentation. But I gotta tell you, this stuff is about so much more than just getting a good grade. These are skills that are, and I mean this, absolutely essential for your whole life.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. There's actual data to back this up. Get this. Research has shown that structured conversations in the classroom, the kind that start with a simple turn and talk, can improve critical thinking skills by a whopping 45%. So you see, you're not just learning how to talk about something, you're literally learning how to think about it on a much deeper level.
At the end of the day, when you communicate well, you're sending a few really powerful messages. You're not just showing what you know. You're showing that you're confident. You're showing that you're prepared. And maybe most important of all, you're showing that you respect your audience enough to value their time and their attention.
Look, every single idea you have has power locked inside it. It really does. And all the skills we've talked about today, they're basically the keys to unlock that power. So the real question isn't, are my ideas good enough? The real question is, how are you going to share them with the world?